Musk has been selling or is continuing to sell. So hopefully we'll get some more information on that tonight. Unfortunately, won't be able to be on Form 4 watch with the traveling, but obviously we'll keep an eye on that as we move through the end of the day today. So one of the reasons the market's probably up today, in addition to, I think, just a continued, impact from the CPI report and the good news that we had there earlier this week, some probably good news here for the market as well in terms of China. China pivoting a little bit on their zero COVID policies, or, at least reducing restrictions a little bit. Still, obviously, some of those things in place, but reducing their quarantine requirements for travelers. They're reducing some penalties on airlines, and also limiting their contact tracing, and some of the other things.
Now turn left onto Dixon Landing Road.
Quarantines that they've had in place and things like that. So a bit of a pivot in their strategy, which, just like we talk about the CPI, it's expectations based. If people see this starting to happen in China, hopefully that signals that more of that would be to come, at least if you're looking at it from an economic or a market perspective. So I think the market responding positively to that today. The Chinese markets were up significantly as well. So we talked about the Form 4 stuff. Hopefully we'll have clarity on that, at least for Wednesday earlier tonight. We still won't know for sure about Thursday and Friday until next week, but probably would get those in bunches. All right, so the first of our Tesla-specific China stories here, we've got a few, is a report from Reuters earlier today that Tesla is considering exporting China-made vehicles to the U.S. We talked about why this might be a possibility with the new bill introduced in the House that could change the electric vehicle tax credit. And with that change, could open up the possibility that maybe Tesla would want to do that to take advantage of higher demand in the U.S. that maybe they can't quite spool up enough supply for. So that still would be a possibility, but Elon replying to this, just a simple one-word tweet here this morning, saying false. So I guess we can kind of move on from that thesis for now. Maybe there's some possibility that this would change if that bill were introduced in the House, and I think Tesla would want to keep their options open if that were the case. It might make a lot of sense to do that at that point in time.
In 500 feet, take the Interstate 880 South ramp on the right towards San Jose.
Here from Tasmanian. So they are reporting on some comments from Grace Tao, one of Tesla's vice presidents in China. And apparently Tesla is planning to double their investments and future plans in the Chinese market. Now, this report is a little bit vague. We don't know the exact quote that is being taken away that gives Tasmanian this headline, but just some general comments in here that they're reporting on.
Now take the Interstate 880 South ramp on the right.
Goals for advancing, reducing emissions, and things of that nature. So I wish there was a little bit more clarity on this. Obviously I think we all still expect Tesla to continue to grow in China. Even with my recent comments on what we're seeing with the insurance subsidy and things like that, certainly my expectation would be for Tesla to continue growing, continue to work their average selling prices down as they grow. Again, that's not necessarily a concern. It's all just a question of margin and kind of how that all shakes out. But hopefully Tesla can continue to expand and bring costs down and continue to address bigger markets. Now, on that point, on the insurance bonus, I do have a bit of an update here. I've been doing it more recently because there's been a little bit of confusion about how this has changed, the structure of this bonus has changed over time. So if we look at this, we've got some clarity. Basically, the question is around...
In 1 mile, keep left to take exit 8B to stay on Interstate 880 South toward McCarthy Boulevard.
And if this new bonus that we saw implemented on November 8th is actually new, or if it's really just a continuation of something that we have seen. And it's kind of important to understand if it is new, just because if it's something that has been consistently available, and Tesla's just reiterating that, then it's a little bit less of a situation where we had this price cut and then we had a reaction to the price cut, and more of just this has been here consistently. So it changes the analysis quite a bit. So like I said, I've been doing some research on this. Here's what I've learned. When Tesla implemented the new price cuts on October 24th, which of course we talked about, they said that orders, hopefully you guys can see that, orders that were placed on October 24th cannot enjoy the insurance rebates at the same time. So what originally happened with the rebate, there's kind of like a quick summary here. I'm just going to walk through how this is structured. Sorry, it's terrible formatting, but on a tight time schedule today. Anyway, so...
Now keep left to stay on Interstate 880 South.
Bonus, $1,100 that ran from starting September 16th.
In 1,000 feet, take exit 8B on the right onto California 237 East toward McCarthy Boulevard.
So they did to 7,000 RMB.
Now take exit 8B on the right.
We're in there, just a couple $100, if that, and then that.
In 500 feet, turn right onto California 237. Then take the McCarthy Boulevard ramp on the right.
First, and when Tesla eventually did then lower the price, we see this clause that effectively ends up removing it. So you had 8,000 in September, you had 7,000 to October 23rd, you had the price cuts, and then it did drop.
Now turn right onto California 237.
It was at 0, and then, like we had talked about earlier this week, it did come back. So I've seen a lot of confusion on this, partially responsible for some of that confusion because I missed this 7,000.
Now take the McCarthy Boulevard ramp on the right.
Hopefully this brings a lot of clarity, and I don't think it would really change any of the comments that I had, because again,
in 500 feet, turn left onto McCarthy Boulevard.
And re-implementing this bonus. So I think all the comments
Now turn left onto McCarthy Boulevard.
laboriously earlier this week, I think are still all valid, but hopefully that makes sense. And of course, Tesla intending to drop that to 4,000 RMB on December 1st. No change there, but of course we'll watch that as it comes. All right, next up here, we've got updates on Tesla charging. So we've talked about this before. There's been a
in 500 feet, turn right onto Technology Drive.
Tesla connector, the standard connector in North America or the United States.
Now turn right onto Technology Drive.
That happened. So they're talking about opening up the North American charging standard, which is what they are now going to be calling their adapter. So instead of just the Tesla connector, they're going to call it the NACS, the North American Charging Standard, and they are opening this up along with all the technical details
in 500 feet, turn left.
To use as they would wish. So this would be awesome. As you can see here, this is the Tesla
now turn left
to CCS, and although it's got wide adoption outside of Tesla vehicles, certainly a lot clunkier, a lot more cumbersome. You've got the little latch on there that clips things in place. All things that you don't have to deal with.
In 500 feet, your destination will be on the left.
And Tesla does say here that this is going to be capable of charging up to 1 megawatt. So, of course, we've seen Tesla do about a quarter of that with the current V3 superchargers, but as Tesla continues to bring those rates up,